everyone, and welcome to the TBR webinar, Asus, the emerging affordable alternative of the PC Plus era of computing, which will take you through a dive look into the strategies and successes of Asus. My name is Allison Crawford, and I'm going to be your host for today's session. Over the quarters, we've engaged with our audience to bring deeper clarity into the state of the computing market. This webinar is part of the ongoing efforts to bring actionable insight and marry it with our company research. In the next few minutes or so, Analyst Beau Skonieczny will take you through some of the tactics and gambles Asus has made to become such a market maker, followed by Q&A of these trends and how they're going to affect you over the next 12 months. Before I turn over to Beau, there are a few logistics I'd like to cover with you. First, we're going to be recording today's session and posting it on the TBR YouTube site, TRI channel. We're going to ask you to visit this channel to watch this presentation or any of the others we've posted. Second, I'd like to hear your opinions and thoughts on the materials we're presenting. Please send us any questions or comments to the Q&A or chat function. I'm collecting them and posing them to Beau at the end of the presentation. If you have a deeper discussion in private with Beau, please reach out to him directly at the end of the webinar, and you can set up a one-on-one inquiry with him. We're going to send out the slides to everyone registered for today's webinar within 24 hours of the conclusion of the presentation. So don't worry, you'll be sending these out. You guys can have any questions. You can go over those later. You can also find our slides as well as other thought leadership pieces, webinar decks, and our commentaries on our SlideShare channel at www.slideshare.net/tbr_market_insight. And I'm sharing all of the social media links with YouTube and Twitter and SlideShare at the end of the presentation. So if you didn't catch those now, don't worry, you'll get those at the end of the deck. With all of that information, now let me introduce Beau Skonieczny, who has been covering the device market for the last 2 years. Beau has a particular interest in innovative firms positioning to excel in the post-PC era. His opinion has been instrumental in shaping the go-to-market strategies of some of the largest device manufacturers, and we're pleased to be able to bring you his thought leadership webinar. So with that, let me hand this over to Beau.
Thanks, and thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar about Asus. I very much look forward to talking to you guys about this. It's a very interesting company from our research and perspective in the market, and they are emerging as one of the key players as shift into new form factors. Now, this presentation really begins with a story of a back in 2007 was that large. It was getting itself positioned into the device space, into the notebook arena, and it tried something new. It tried a little product called the netbook, and at first it wasn't successful, but it leveraged its competencies in design and focused its efforts on fueling the success of the form factor, and eventually led to a big impact on the market. It drove a lot of differentiation and actually made a new opportunity, a growth opportunity in a stagnating PC landscape for vendors to capitalize on. And this is really where Asus positions itself in the market in having its successes, focusing on key areas to invest in and diversify away from the traditional trends that we see in the space. And with that, we need to talk about 3 key areas today. The first is how Asus' uninhibited approach to design is driving its growth in the market. And now going to look at how Asus holds some competitive advantages in the PC Plus space. And then we're going to take a look at what can be learned from Asus' approach to this particular market arena. So before we started, really, Asus' entire strategy is based on design. Design drives the company's focus and innovation in various areas and form factors that it feels is its core competency. So the first big innovation with Asus was the netbook. They really drove a lot of growth here, and basically built their scale and name in the notebook space, and still remained mainly a player in emerging markets and APAC and also in various regions of Europe. They were able to leverage the success into other design areas, such as the transformer pad. It was one of the successes of the company in the tablet space in a room when a lot of Android tablets, particularly head-to-head with Apple's iPad, were not generating significant success. And once didn't really gain the scale and leverage of Apple's success in the tablet space, they were able to find their own niche in a convertible form factor. The first convertible form factors that really addressed some of the key pain points of a lot of Android tablet customers in terms of battery life, and also introducing an attachable keyboard design, which a lot of end customers really navigated towards. They continued to leverage this converged device approach with design by transitioning into the pad phone in 2012, which really is the epitome of Asus design strategy. Pad phone integrates a smartphone, a tablet, and also a dockable design all into one product that it really differentiates itself from not only the tablet space but the smartphone space. Now translates into Asus's experience branding approach. It comes from Asus' way of approaching the market with these different types of form factors, and may not generate significant sales in terms of volume with a product like the pad phone, given the high price point. It's attracting consumers, particularly within the tech community. We say that Asus is one of the gizmo rock stars of the tech world and gadget, and they really have a strong relationship with this type of marketing. And it's about their marketing approach. They're able to drive success in the market, really get awareness around their new products, particularly their differentiated products like the pad phone or the transformer pad, and attract consumers, high-end consumers, to their flagship products, and also through word of mouth and through different tech blogs. This translates into sales through their other lower-priced, more valuable product areas. Again, this effective way of marketing their product in different form factors, just the business goals of the company. As we can see, this has really been growing at a strong clip over the last few years. We've generated multiple quarters in a row of digit year-to-year growth. In the most recent quarter in 4Q12, it was able to grow its entire business by over 17% year-to-year. And while doing this, they are able to sustain an operating margin of around 5%. And in comparison to a company like Apple, who has a strong mix of high-end smartphone products, Asus is maintaining its focus within the notebook area and also tablets, which now are, in comparison to smartphones, don't generate as much profitability. But because Asus is mostly focused on consumer-oriented products, compared to their consumer PC segments from other vendors, we see Asus as a leader in this space, really able to drive to high profitability with low-priced products by leveraging cost efficiencies. And we expect to continue even as we move into a more challenging PC environment. About design. Design is really one of Asus's key competitive advantages. That their goal to focus on R&D capabilities and really leverage an uninhibited approach to product design. To try different types of products, different variants of certain popular products to fill gaps in the market, particularly within the consumer space, that really drive interest into the brand and help them expand into new market areas. as well as improve their overall product mix and cost efficiencies. Next, we're going to take a look at some of Asus's competitive advantages in the PC Plus space. One big developments over the last few quarters was the partnership with Google on the Nexus 7. The Nexus 7 was essentially Asus's platform into their tablet scale and their prominence in the tablet industry, tablet segment. And initially back in CES 2012, Asus introduced a $250 7-inch Android tablet. This really kind of set the scale for the market and where vendors were going to be investing in. But by introducing this tablet, a quad-core tablet, which at the time had the introduction of Amazon Kindle Fire, which was a great tablet at a great price point. Again, in some ways, it was limiting the consumer experience. And this was really what drove some of the success of the Nexus 7 is Asus's focus on addressing some of the key concerns from the consumer market, leveraging a higher-end product for a similar price point to drive that value proposition up, and really demonstrated its prowess in research and development and product design. And we feel that Google took cue of this and saw the opportunities that Asus was going to be a strong leader in the tablet space, and really capitalizing on that opportunity and partnering with Asus to let their design-oriented focus, and then able to offload some of the marketing activities, most of the sales and marketing activities associated with the Nexus 7, to help bring down the cost of the tablet when Asus introduced it to the market, as well as drive cost efficiencies for Asus in the tablet segment, who they do maintain a profitability in the tablet space, roughly around the same point as their notebook segment. The chart there, we can see that as soon as the Nexus 7 was really introduced into the market at the end of 3Q12 and into 4Q12, it really skyrocketed Asus's scale in the tablet space. In the last quarter, they grew year to year by 400% in terms of units. And mix has shifted towards low-end tablets versus the higher-end transformer-type products. The company is looking into other factors for more long-term investments, Windows 8 tablets, and so on, to drive out of more premium products, but also leveraging the same Nexus 7 model to more margin within emerging customers and lower price points to continue to fuel the scale of this. And we can take a look at some of the company's portfolio positioning within the multi-form factor market. For tablets right now, Asus is really kind of focusing on the lower entry-level tablets. Going forward, it's going to let scale in notebooks as one of the top players in the notebook industry behind Lenovo and HP in the space, which they can leverage that scale to drive, again, cost efficiencies and component synergies across different form factors, particularly as they look into expanding their tablets to more versatile Windows 8 tablets like the Vivo Tab and the Transformer Book, and also just similar type-based notebook designs. We've seen the company have strong success already with their Vivo Book, which again leverage a better value proposition than what a lot of other vendors can offer in space by bringing the price of a touchscreen notebook to around $200. Asus really gained traction, near taking half of the hybrid market in terms of sales in 4Q12. So really see is a differentiator here. They have invested early on in touchscreen designs, all the way to their focus on hybrids with the Transformer Prime tablet and extending out into the Windows 8 ecosystem. With limited penetration to the Windows 8 space, their hybrid designs will be the focus point for differentiated design from the competition and leading change in this market to, again, to propel the business into the more premium space from their large scale in notebooks. Now, there's a few things that vendors can take away from this approach and what we can learn from them in the market. They have their own competencies in design, in consumer space, in notebooks, in hybrid designs. And this is really the focus area for the company going to the next few years. There's convergence happening in the market as PC sales kind of stay at a state of stagnation. There's opportunity to really find gaps in the market and differentiate from a lot of emerging form factors that are coming to market. And one of the competencies that we feel Asus really leverages well is their ability to try different things. Their uninhibited approach to this design focus enables them to test the market, and because they try a lot of different things, they're able to hedge some of that risk. And that really supports some of their successes, and as well as hedging some of their failures, essentially, with some of their notebooks, with some product segments. So now I'm going to take a look at some of those that really adapt to other vendors' approach and leveraging their competencies to be successful. So as I mentioned, Asus really hedges some of their market risk by broadening their portfolio within the consumer segment. So by instead focusing on a broader market arena, it knows that they relate well with consumers. Their products really target the tech community and translates well into some emerging market customers with their brand recognition. Leveraging that focus on consumer market and expanding into more premium products, they are focusing on transitioning to new markets like the Americas and South America. And in the last few quarters, they've generated over 80% growth in the Americas on a year basis. So they've really been showing some strength here. We expect them to continue to grow, although their scale builds. We do expect it to slow down. However, other opportunities in tablets and in hybrid form factors will generate some more premium revenue bases for the company. So it's really tackling almost every price band, every major product segment, major growth product segment within the consumer space, and that's how Asus is going to the market. Enabling them to really fill these gaps, as it did with the netbook, creating a new opportunity in hybrid designs, because they've really focused on driving success in this arena. They did early on, and while some PC vendors have been a bit conservative in terms of what the growth potential within the space may be and the initial adoption rates would be, Asus is really expanding out. They've got a strong portfolio of notebook lines, Windows 8 touch notebooks, and all-in-ones already destined for a spread global market. A lot of vendors are still trying to navigate some of the nuances of screens in terms of the limited supply, as well as the higher premium cost for these touch screens. And that the early investment will really help Asus position well to address some of these concerns. Particularly, they can to leverage new, unique designs that really trend towards the consumer interest into the overall Asus brand. One example, you can see pictures here. This is Asus's all-in-one transformer. It's a really unique product in that it leverages the popular all-in-one form factor, as well as a large 18-inch tablet design, which you can transition seamlessly between Windows 8 and Android on the same device. So that's the success of the Android Touch ecosystem for their app base, but also adapting into the transition to Windows 8 and what that offers in terms of productivity and more work-life experience. So this is some of the differentiations that Asus is able to leverage through its competency in design, and there's a lot of opportunity for users to really take cues from how Asus is leveraging its competencies and how they can leverage their own competencies within various market segments, whether it be success healthcare verticals or in certain product segments that will enable users to broaden themselves within these competency areas and execute more effectively in a challenging market, trying to fill those gaps where they would be most effective in doing so. One of the emerging, or not such emerging companies we've seen successfully, but who has really stood out as a company that has leveraged their strengths in the emerging markets, particularly their strength in China, and expanded that out into other emerging markets by having consumer growth. So leverage their Think brand as a premium product in the commercial space, and they focused really on driving innovation in the consumer and translating some of their successes in the Think brand, the consumer market, with products like the Lenovo Yoga and the ThinkPad Twist. So some companies are really showing some of their in the market, driving strong growth in a challenging PC space and differentiating themselves from the competition and positioning themselves for strong growth over the next few years. In closing, we've talked about how Asus's design is really lead company in terms of penetrating different market arenas. They continue to demonstrate their experienced branding approach is doing success in helping them expand away from notebooks into new form factors. It's also attracted the success of Google to back them in into the emerging sub-8-inch tablet form factor, which Asus will continue to build on, attack new emerging market customers while focusing on more term markets to expand their premium hybrid form segment. We've also taken a look at some of the Asus competitive advantages in the PC Plus space and how they really leverage that to drive success in the market. Another area that they have really leveraged as a competitive advantage is their other segment in motherboards gives them some development synergies because they can drive scale through component and supplier arrangements and then leverage that across other segments, namely their PC segments, which gives them a cost advantage. We believe that gives them a cost advantage in the consumer space. And also taking a look at some of what we learned from Asus' approach, and it's unique to them, and how other vendors can really target approach and focus on defining what really will help them in the devices space, whether it be consumer or commercial markets, and really navigating some of these gaps in the market. One of the emerging gaps that we've seen is is really driving some improved authentication measures on touchscreen devices. Some companies investing in acquisitions to help improve their security measures in a more seamless way, such as with Apple's purchase of Authentic. There hasn't been a proven example of it that has addressed the issue. So this could be an opportunity for the device vendor to step in and say, here's a solution. It's different, it's seamless, and it's a way to authenticate mobile devices. And this is a key area of interest not only for consumers but for enterprise users of these touchscreen, easy-to-use devices. I really appreciate you guys listening on this webinar about Asus and how they are emerging in the space. Now I'll back to and carry out any questions and answers that you guys may have.
Great. Thanks, Beau, and thanks for those of you who have sent questions in already. As Beau mentioned, now's the time to send things through, and he'll answer them publicly. First question we had to come through, Beau, is what regions are Asus most successful in, and what's their strategy in the Americas region from a design perspective?
Sure. So they've really established themselves first in APAC, in Asia Pacific, whether in China, in Taiwan, and transitioned into as their secondary market focus. It basically established scale in both of these markets, and now have been focusing on growth in the Americas. This is kind of a split focus for them in North America and Brazil, where they're doing a mix of products to gain traction in South America, launching some of their more form factor and devices in the United States to help gain traction there. In the earnings call last quarter, they mentioned that they experienced strong traction in the retail segment for their Ultrabook, which again mentioned earlier as one of their really cost-effective touchscreen notebooks. By leveraging some of these value products and new touchscreen devices, it's really helping them penetrate into the North America segment, and this will continue to be the focus point for the company for the course of 2013. Again, 7 was a big part of this. So by partnering with Google, this really helps them drive through the channel and gain presence in this space as they continue to invest in retail presence and benefit from their guerrilla marketing tactics.
Okay. The question we have, Beau, is do you think Asus's heavy investment in hybrids will backfire if demand is not strong?
One of the benefits and competitive advantages of Asus is its ability to really try a number of different form factors. So by focusing on not only excessive premium hybrid form factors, but also target a lower priced point for the transition to just regular clamshell notebooks. This is really helping them tap into various price segments of the market, whether it's the enthusiast market and the gaming community, or just mainstream users looking to purchase a touch-based notebook experience. And right now, touchscreens are a bit expensive, with a premium of around $150 to $200. But because Asus has established scale early on, or focused on establishing scale early on, this will help them from a cost perspective and drive down that price gap over the course of 2013, where they're targeting to go below $50 for a screen-based device versus a non-touch. Even with this, they all maintain their scale in traditional notebooks in the emerging market segment. So they can afford to try new things here and still leverage scale in notebooks as well as motherboards and tablets to maintain their revenue base and profit base.
The next question we had come through is, hold on 1 second. Get a lot of questions, Beau, so just hang on 1 second.
Sure.
How would you compare Asus's design capability with their willingness to try a lot of things to test markets with Samsung's practices in both areas?
Sure. Samsung is a large company that's focused on a wide range of different product areas. We do have a number of different products that are testing the market in some cases, but when you look at Asus's approach to the smartphone industry, for instance, versus Samsung's, which again is a very successful approach to the smartphone space. But Asus does not go head-to-head with Samsung's success in Android, traditional Android smartphones, and they look at an opportunity to really attract consumers to the ecosystem through a device like the Pad phone. There's really no other product on the market right now that you could dock a premium smartphone in a tablet and get a traditional Android tablet experience, and then dock that again into an actual keyboard that will give you more of a productivity-based consumption device. So leveraging this type of approach to different segments and really trying to find gaps in the market, Asus is not going to go head-to-head with a large vendor like Samsung. Instead, they'll focus on trying to fill other areas and differentiate their designs from those larger competitors.
Okay, we had the follow-up. With the follow-up from the same person, it might be the same line of questioning. How intertwined have Asus and Google become? Are they going to remain partners indefinitely?
It is definitely a weighted term, but I would say that the success of the Nexus 7 will lead to another tablet partnership between the two. We heard rumors of a updated Nexus 7 device with a higher resolution screen for $50 more than what the Nexus 7 currently sells for. And if this were to be the case, and I feel that, you know, given the approach of Asus to the tablet space, they've been aggressive in developing new low-end entry-priced tablets, particularly compete with the possibility that Apple would introduce a Retina-based iPad mini. Asus is really looking to get to the market before them and try to differentiate themselves in the market before other vendors in the tablet space get a chance to.
Okay, the next we have, Beau. Do you think Asus has any interest in getting into a little more deeply embedded spaces such as digital signage, retail, automotive, transportation, medical, etc.?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think that Asus really is focused on their consumer-oriented approach. Some of these areas would leverage some of efficiencies in component design around motherboards, but I believe that their focus and their competency is going to be within the consumer space and trying to leverage their experience branding, or what they also like to call their customer experience 2.0, to drive their product design.
Okay, hold on, we're scrolling down. Okay, the next one, Beau. As the PC market declines, do you see them slowing investment in notebooks or growing it in their tablet products?
Well, books do encompass what we'd like to say is the hybrid space, because it's a combination of tablets and notebooks. So I think that their investment strategies within those categories are just going to shift. One thing that they've really been successful in doing is adapting their R&D approach, shifting it around to different areas of growth and different growth opportunities for them. This allows them to get to the market a bit quicker than some of the competitors that might be stretching their R&D out across a number of different devices at a time. So they'll focus on getting to the market with, for instance, the Nexus 7 before anyone else can really introduce a comparable 7-inch tablet is already in the market, ready to go. But shifting around and remaining flexible in the consumer space, they can really adapt to some of the fluctuations in demand trends and where the market is really heading down the road.
Okay. The next question came in was, I think it was this slide. The question is, you showed a slide with a bump in units sold during the last quarter, which coincided with the introduction of Nexus 7. Where'd it go? Sorry, just lost it. 7 and the holiday seasons. How have sales been since during the current quarter, and how strong is the product innovation pipeline? Do you mean repeat, Beau?
So if this, I think I have the question right, and it's asking about Nexus 7 and also the future pipeline and what the trend looks like going down the road. So in terms of Nexus 7, yes, the spike was benefited by the holiday seasonal demand trends. Even with, I mentioned that Apple introduced the iPad Mini as well. So 7 was going head-to-head with Apple's iPad Mini, as well as the new Kindle Fires from Amazon. So even with that, we've seen tremendous growth from the 7 and success not only in the U.S. but also in markets like Japan and China, where Asus has actually been outpacing some of the sales of the iPad Mini. The momentum going forward, again, Asus is going to remain aggressive from both a price perspective and from a product perspective. The rumors now are that release a updated Nexus 7 for $250 in the next few months. This would really be a differentiator and prepare them for another growth cycle in the sub-8-inch tablet market. And again, they're not just betting on the smaller scale 7-inch tablets. They're looking at other areas such as combining the tablet success of the Nexus 7 with the trend towards large screen connected smartphones like the Galaxy Note 2. So that would be in the pad phone product they've introduced over the last couple months. The pad phone is going to leverage an aggressive price point for a large screen smartphone at around $250. So again, it's differentiating from a product perspective and also from a cost perspective to drive more value into their products, as experimenting in other premium converged product ideas.
The next question I have, Beau. How does Acer's profit margin compare to the big three, Apple, HP, Dell, and Lenovo, as well as Asus?
So their operating profit margin would fall around how HP's PC business is, around the 4.5 and 5% mark. And the interesting thing here is that because Asus is focused on the consumer space, which is typically a lower price market than commercial customers, Asus is still able to maintain a similar margin to HP, even after going after commercial PC markets and build larger scale in the overall PC space. The benefits to Asus is it's able to leverage its profitability in motherboards to basically bolster their overall profitability. The problem here is that as the growth rates of its up segments in notebooks and tablets continue to outpace It's relatively stable board business. It's going to have to generate more profitability out of those product lines in order to maintain its margin rates. We're doing a effective job currently in balancing this, and it will continue to do so if it can penetrate more of the premium notebook and hybrid space, as well as transition some of its tablet focus to more premium Windows 8 tablets.
Okay, I have time for one more question, Beau. Follow-up question is, do you consider Asus a consumer company, and do they have plans to compete in the relationship segment?
In what segment? I'm sorry, what was that?
The relationship segment.
I'm not clear on what the relationship segment, but I can address the question about their consumer focus. Are a consumer-oriented company. Most of their sales are derived from consumers within their devices segments. So they are also a motherboard manufacturer that caters to both and consumer PCs. But within the notebook space, most of their designs are oriented towards consumers as well as enthusiast game users. They do have a select line of business SMB-oriented products, but I don't think that they generate a lot of direct commercial sales to customers. It mostly would be the bring your own device customer base, which would be adapting some of their products into the commercial space.
Actually, thanks to three people who sent me the clarification on that, as well as the original question poser. But relationship is working with large customers or large companies, so enterprise and large bids.
Sure. So they're not focused on those type of business arrangements. I guess shift into convertible Windows 8 form factors with enhanced productivity capabilities and more of a focus on addressing some of those user needs in both productivity and consumption, to help translate some of their products to the business realm. But again, their focus will still be on addressing consumer needs and the rapidly fluctuating demand trends in this space, because how their R&D practice is really set up. It focus on new apps and new changes in the market and anticipating some of these trends and trying to adapt to those product categories.
I think, Beau, we're pretty much at the top of the time that we have, and so if we've missed your questions or haven't gotten to it, what we'll do is we'll have Beau reach out to you directly for any follow-ups. In the meantime, if there are any other questions that you guys want to send through to set up conversation with Beau at a later time, please send those through now. We want to thank Beau for your time, and thanks everyone for joining us today. We hope that this was a valuable use of your time today. I'd like to encourage you to follow Beau and TBR on Twitter. I've listed the handles here, both for Beau as well as TBR, as well as you giving links to our YouTube channel where all of these recordings are posted, and the LinkedIn page for TBR. So we encourage you to join those communities to learn about what TBR is doing on a day-to-day basis. As you're leaving the webinar, we are running a 3-question survey. It's 2 video buttons and an open-ended commentary. If you guys could give us feedback on the quality of the presenter, the quality of the presentation, and any feedback, we are incorporating that feedback into our presentations quarter to quarter to improve, to meet your needs as best we can. So we'll be looking forward to get that feedback from you. I'm going to leave the chat function open for another 5 minutes or so in case any last-minute questions or comments you guys want to send. And if we don't hear from you now, we look forward to connecting with you through the series of webinars we're setting up for next quarter. And you can look for that email coming out from us in the next week or so, giving you a list of all the upcoming webinars. Ezra Gottheil, who is on the webinar today, will be doing a really interesting one on devices later on in May. So please look for that. And in case there's anything else we can do for you guys, please reach out to us. Otherwise, have a great afternoon, and we'll talk with you all soon. Thanks, everyone.